So next time we get there, split 2 to yellow, they keep their bowl up, put their cars in the bowl, and we are good for both shifts.
In PUBG, it is important to understand that a team is only as good as their in-game leader or IGL. Having a smart IGL that you can rely on will be the difference between winning games and watching the game end from spectator. My name is Jabroni, former coach of Ghost Gaming PUBG, and in this video we are going to dive deep into the role of an in-game leader in an effort to understand how to improve your squad through strong leadership. Apologies for taking so long on the third episode of our Masterclass series. As some of you know, I've taken a lot of time off of PUBG, and I'm currently waiting for a real reason to want to play. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, and feel free to browse the other channel with all the Tarkov content that we have. Now that the nonsense is over, let's get into it. Now before we begin the actual chapters in this video, I just want to give a big shout out to Genesis PUBG. They're an NA team that are heading to the PGS qualifier LAN here in LA, and they allowed me to sit in their scrims for a little bit just to get some recordings. I'm really appreciative, so if you guys want to go show them some love, check the description below. All the boys' links are in there, the link to the Twitter and all that, so please go show them some love. Chapter 1. Defining an IGL. An IGL is the leader of your team when it comes to all decisions throughout a game of PUBG. There are a lot of teams, especially those not at a high competitive level, that try to share this role between multiple different players. However, I can tell you without a doubt, based on experience alone, it is much better to have one player that has complete control. Certain in-game leaders will have different styles, but most will get along throughout a game by feeding and assessing information to and from their teammates, and coming up with decisions based on that information. Later in the video, we will check out what those decisions may entail. Many players may refer to their IGL as a shot caller for another term. It is vital to your team's success that prior to even practicing, you make a definitive decision on who your shot caller will be. Chapter 2. Responsibilities. Now let's quickly go through some of the responsibilities of an IGL. Early game fights. At the start of any given game of PUBG, if you are not a tier 1 team, there's a pretty good chance that you are going to be confronted by another squad. While parachuting into your game, your IGL is going to need to make a split-second decision, identify the situation, and decide whether or not this fight is worth taking. Personally, I recommend analyzing the potential of a hot drop fight before every game and declaring whether or not you will be committing to the fight before the plane even takes off. Early game rotations.
I think we do our Bandita thing. That way we can play in east. I'd rather be set up to go east. What do you guys think?
Every game of PUBG has a circle popping up after 90 seconds of the initial plane path. It is up to your IGL to make a final decision on the pathing your squad will take in order to reach the next phase of the game.
Oh no, it's pretty good, he's going down, that's a huge... Oh, he just dodges out of...
During this decision-making process, it's vital that you and your squad mates relay information they may be aware of, in order to give a shot caller the best chance of success for that phase 1 move. Circle shifts. After conquering the early game rotations, it is the entire team's job to begin gaining information on what is around them, feeding this info to your IGL. Using what your team knows, your shot caller should begin coming up with their plan for what to do before a circle finally shifts. If you want this to run as smooth as possible, it is important your squad mates and you make recommendations. That way, prior to a circle shifting, your IGL can supply you with all your plays based on different circle shift scenarios.
So you can now see where we're going with the circle. Let's just go back over towards the east. That was fun last time.
Crashes.
There's a team trying to take it right now. They're crashing it. You can take it. You can take it. They're crashing. They just crashed.
I'm already here. Just fight it. Just fight it. I'm already here. There's one going
the
in the
backside
car.
of the wall.
Shack.
Take it to one guy right now.
Let's go, baby! One dead. Run that fucker over. Kill him.
He's on,
Two
one,
down,
another one
two
got knocked.
down.
Another one got knocked.
Just group here, we play slow.
There should be one on my shack or on my longhouse.
Opposite side, I'm gonna...
Yeah, opposite side.
I can nade bottom floor in a second. I'm gonna nade bottom.
Or he's on White House. White 2-story.
I'm nading bottom floor of your longhouse.
Yeah. He is bottom floor. Right side.
Yeah,
North side.
I
North side.
He's dead.
Nice.
Reset.
In certain situations when you head into the mid-game, your team is going to start hitting what I like to call the wall. The wall is defined as not having an open position to move into the new circle for free. In this situation, it may be time for your team to crash an opponent's cover. Based on information in the kill feed, fights you may have recently seen, or even the strength of the opponent if you are familiar with them, your IGL will need to not only decide the crash you are taking, but the way you are going to take this crash. Who is driving what side are you crashing, and the buildings you are trying to take control of. Team fights. Whether or not you commit to a team fight is going to largely revolve around the decision of your shot caller. As an IGL, this person needs to designate clearly the fight in front of the squad, and if this fight is a complete necessity. In some cases, your team will be pushed by an altercation you may be uncomfortable with, which may cause you to even lose a teammate. Regardless of losing a teammate, there's still a decision-making process, and you need to decide whether you're going to take the fight or not. Once you make that decision, it's fight till the death. Babysitting.
Okay, let's take that, and then I want one of you to flex out to yellow And keep info
I can do
towards
that.
Ruins Alamo.
Now I want to put babysitting last because, to be completely fair, it is IGLs that go above and beyond that are able to assist their teammates in every second decisions. These things may range from asking to shoot a target or not, asking the exact position they should be playing, or making sure their rotation maintains in very specific tire tracks. As an IGL, don't be scared to go above and beyond for your team. You're the captain of the ship. Chapter 3. Trust. One of the most difficult things for an I to overcome is the ability to trust the rest of their team. Throughout a game of PUBG, your teammates will be scouting, shooting, and calling out their own ideas. As a shot caller, it is pivotal that you are able to trust the words coming from your teammates. To put it simply, you are one player with only one point of view, and it is physically impossible for you to scout everything and gather all the info yourself. Hold your squad mates to high standards, coach them through the information to get for you, and trust what they relay back. Having a full squad's worth of information well relayed into one decision-making body will have your squad feeling like you know what is going on throughout the entire map. And in a game of PUBG, knowledge is power. Chapter 3. Die by the call.
Hey, go, 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 go.
Mine covered. Pulling up on blue.
Cover mine, cover mine.
One's in the garage. One's in the garage. One's in the long building as well.
Yes, fuck.
Profi, I'm gonna throw a smoke towards the small building.
I'm making a play. I'm making a
Yeah,
play.
I'm making a
Okay.
play too. Pushing up.
Push in. All I can do is hold for you guys right now.
My smoke is bad. You go
One's on
left,
the
Profi. You can get it. Go left. Go left to me. You have the angle. And go left. Don't res. Just push left. Trust. While you still have the gap.
No, there's a guy in the window. I can't push that. That's where he killed me from.
Through my time with Ghost, our squad, like many others, had to nail down the idea of sticking to one idea. Throughout a game of PUBG, you may have hundreds of different ideas fly through your team comms. No matter what ideas you discuss, however, there needs to be only one final decision. On top of that, your team needs to be 100% committed to executing the play decided to the best of your ability. The reason I want to stress this is pretty straightforward. If your IGL makes a final decision and it fails, it's vital for the development of your team that the reason for this failure wasn't execution. If one or two players are trying to do something else, rather than the play because they disagree, you will never know for sure if either plan would have worked. Therefore, you have learned nothing. As important an IGL that makes decisions is, it is just as important that the rest of the team follows the decision that was made. Finally, Chapter 5. Stats. I cannot stress this enough. Fuck stats. As an IGL, you will notice right off the back your stats will likely suffer. Spending a lot of time in the map, gathering information, and assessing the next play puts you in a position where you can rarely just sit still and shoot. To be straight up, if you can't handle your stats suffering, don't play this role. Every time you tunnel for a kill or damage, you are hurting your team's chances at winning. Focus on putting your team in a position to win every game, nothing else. Boys, that's going to do it in our overview of an IGL in PUBG. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to subscribe and give it a like. I'm working on some more Masterclass videos coming soon. Along with that, if you think I missed anything or want to ask any questions, send it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.